Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I have reflected, waiting for my turn, I don't want to be too dramatic, but this just may be the most important hearing that I've attended in my 7 years in Congress. If you think about 100,000 lives lost to fentanyl, if you think about the many impacts that we've talked about today, this is incredibly important, and I hope the American people are watching. This is my third trip to the border in several years. I've been under President Trump's administration and President Biden's administration, and I came today with a specific purpose to learn about the control of the border. And what I learned is that the border is controlled, not by the U.S. government, but by the cartels. They control who comes, they control when they come, and where they come into the United States. I thought that was our job in the United States. They even control if they come. I was shocked to learn that if those who want to cross the border aren't willing to pay the thousands and thousands of dollars, that they could be shot by the cartel coming across the border. Every fact here points to the complete failure of President Biden and his policies, or perhaps a better way to describe it is lack of policies. As just one example, as we arrived at the border today, we were greeted by a wall, almost as far as the eye could see. Imagine my surprise to learn that that was President Obama's wall, the 20-foot wall. Towards the end of the wall, you could see where it climbed to 30 feet, President Trump's wall, and then symbolically after that, no wall, representing no policies, no effort, no ability to deal with what's happening here. And of course, the piles and piles and piles of unconstructed wall laid on the ground next to the wall. Sheriff, it was quoted earlier, but I want to restate this because all of us were impacted by this. You said, we're not dealing with an immigration issue, we are dealing with an organized crime issue. Could you explain that a little bit so that everybody else can understand what you meant by that?
Well, Congressman, we're dealing with an issue where the border, our southern border and northern border, let's not be absent to that, is controlled ingress and egress by these criminal cartels for violence, fear, and greed. There's just no other way around it. CBP knows it, locals know it, law enforcement knows it. We see it every day. And to talk with my fellow sheriffs, the crime, the tragedies that they're bringing to our country, not just the borders, this is America's problem. The criminal cartels, these organized transnational organizations, are destroying our country, one pill at a time, one entry at a time.
We talk about the millions of crossings. Is it fair to say that at the low numbers, people are paying $5,000, $6,000 per crossing?
That is correct, Congressman.
And those are the low numbers.
The higher countries of interest, the higher the price goes. We've seen it all the way up to $21,000 plus.
Thank you. Mr. Del Cudo, tell me why Utahns should care. Tell me why Utahns should care about what's happening here. We live a long ways away from this, but could you help Utahns understand why this impacts them and how this impacts them?
Because the drug cartels are not just operating here. They're not just making their money off of what they sell on our southern border or in border states. They're making their money off of what they sell throughout the entire country. And you know, when you're looking at what is being apprehended or where these individuals are being apprehended, it is known that the drug cartels operate in over 160 different countries worldwide. And because of that, they are going to continue to operate in different states within the United States, including Utah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, our fentanyl deaths in our state have increased dramatically in correspondence with the numbers coming across the border. Mayor, I was a mayor of Provo, Utah for 8 years. And listen, I think anybody that's a mayor walks on water, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have any sense, I can't imagine financially how you budget for the impact of this. Do you have any sense how this impacts your budget?
Sir, my police chief, the deputy chief is here. When we have low cars come through town, we have 66 sworn, but all those 66 sworn are sectioned out when we have a low car come through town because we don't know when they're coming, where they're coming. The sheriff and the deputies does an amazing job of trying to keep the low cars out of town. But some come through town, and we have to man all posts because we have a lot of intersections. We have a lot of families. Matter of fact, one low car came came down to our high school, which we have to lock down the high school, have to lock down the schools, so that takes us away our resources.
And we're out of time, but I can't even imagine. That's one aspect of it. Healthcare, right? Every aspect of this has to impact your budget.
Yes, sir.
Let me just say quickly, I've introduced recently into the House a bill that would actually reimburse states who send law enforcement help to Texas. And we hear you loud and clear that you can't afford this, and I certainly, with my colleagues, will look for ways to get you help. Mr. Chairman, I yield my time.